Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty interesting news going on over here for some brand new PlayStation 5 controller updates. Now, we've kind of seen a lot of news in this all throughout today, mainly just because we're just seeing I don't know, it's kind of a nifty, kind of cool proposal, but we're now trying to go and see the future of brand new, internal technology to make the controllers even better, more unique, and also kind of off a little bit more of, I guess, a special vibe when it does come to them. So we're going to go talk about this brand new pens, and everything else coming out all throughout here. And as well, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. So if any of you are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, leave a like on the video, and also, of course, give me your thoughts and comments, and of course, the Twitter and Twitch room down below with the Amazon links, and let's dive into the video itself. So we actually have a brand new now Sony pen. So as you guys probably know too, when it comes to video games and Sony especially, every now and then they're trying their best to work in brand new and nifty things to, well, in all honesty, make either their products or controllers, in this case, a little bit nicer, a little bit better. Now, one thing to kind of note too for this one is this is still just a pen on the early side, but this is kind of a cool one because it's all in regards to the filing a patent for temperature changing PlayStation controllers. Now, what does this kind of mean? I mean, kind of a duh, but basically means your PlayStation controller can go and, well, change the actual temperature. So let's say you're on the nice hot day, it's like a 90 degrees outside, 100 degrees outside, maybe because you're down in Florida, Texas, a little bit humid. Well, maybe you want to go and have your controller be a little bit more nicer and chill, or maybe, honest to God, maybe you want to be a little bit warmer. Maybe you're somewhere like in Chicago or like maybe in Canada, and for that, you want to go and have your controller be a little bit nicer and warmer, a bit more toastier. Maybe you're in a cold basement like how I am sometimes, and you guys can kind of go from there. So Sony is usually pretty lean on using the latest technologies for their video game consoles, as you can see on the PlayStation 5. Now, this brand new pen they filed only proves this. I mean, seriously, for them, how much more high-tech can they get from a PS controller that can change temperatures? And not because if they put them on a fire or on your fridge or anything like that. So you guys can kind of go and see some of the actual brand new pens over here, where they do have the Sony tech, where they have a brand new PlayStation 5 controller, and more so, heater. Now, one of the weird figures they have, though, is kind of based, it almost kind of seems like maybe around the actual handheld. I'm not 100% sure, because they are saying 11. If you guys want to look at, the corresponding numbers or whatever, you guys can see at the 11, 13, and 14. You guys can kind of look at this over here on the bottom handle with the 11 over here. I'm not sure if that's basically the 1-to-1, because they are technically different figures, but I do want to say I think it kind of seems from them, and it would make a lot of sense, at least just in my interpretation. Let's say you have a proper controller. So maybe you'd want to have some sort of heating inside the actual controller itself in terms of all of these lines here, and all of this. And then maybe say you're holding your controller, which as you guys probably know if you guys are mostly holding your controller in the first place, the heat would actually be, or either coolness would be somehow around where your hands are. Now, as I've mentioned, I can kind of see some pretty cool use cases for this. Now, this actually might be more so in regards on potentially maybe a PlayStation 6 in the future. Probably not going to be in regards to the brand new DualSense, because as you guys probably happen to know this one, the DualSense Edge wireless controller is a pretty high thing. It's like $200 or so. So it's probably not going to be involved with this one too as well. But, I mean, it'd be kind of cool. If they ever had a secondary integration or whatever, I'd be actually very down with this one. But like I said, we're kind of seeing all the news articles and people discussing on this and talking about this, and I can see it being kind of really cool for either warmth or cold. So Xputer has now just come out with a very, very interesting story to go and say about Sony and their patent they just filed. According to them, this pen is now for a new deformable elastic sensor or gel-like material to replace the plastic used in a PlayStation controllers. So once again, like I said, it's kind of just more replacing more of the outside edge of the controller itself, and whatever it might go and have, there might be heat or anything else too on top of that. So, for all this one too as well, I think it's nifty. So apparently the whole point of the elastic sensor gel-like material is to improve haptic feedback for the controller itself. So both in terms of improving the vibrations too. So it's not only kind of sticking single-handedly over there, where there's a part of it, and it was cool. And it's just making everything all vibrate and nice. But it's also trying to make it so it's also nice, cool for colors too as well. I don't know. So basically in terms of just improving the vibrations, I could see that maybe because if you have a motor running a long time, longevity-wise, if it's also cooler, that's also very nice. It's also very cool and can make things a little more efficient. But as well, like I said, the temperature in the controllers to reflect the gameplay using brand new sense materials. The pen gives an example of the player character picking up a hot, cold object in a game, causing the controller to actually feel a little bit more mildly hot then in response. So not let alone just the fact of maybe temperature control cooling, so like I say for comfort and relaxation, this also can maybe be safe for a God of War. As you guys kind of maybe know, he's using his Hellblades or whatever. In that case, maybe you go and have that equipped for your character, and maybe you're swinging around, using a special ability or something of the sort, and then you can go and have it on your controller, and it actually feel somewhat warmer. Or maybe in the reverse side too as well. If it's from more focus on the cold too on top of that, that kind of goes more into like, let's say you use like Kratos' axe, and then the axe itself maybe has a chill. Some of the abilities I remember in the game itself had like little blast of literal ice coming out of it, and I think that's a very nice, cool thing. And you would be able to have a chance to reflect that into your controller and also into the heat itself too, whether it goes on either side. I think it's probably one of the best examples for it. I keep on thinking how nice it'd be for a casual usage, because like I said, maybe you're in a hot area, maybe that like the heat's on, whatever. You want to have it like be a little chill, be underneath your bed, whatever it might be. Or on the reverse side, maybe you're in a cold basement, you can bump up the heat too as well. I think there's a lot of potentials with it. So how does Sony plan to actually make this temperature changer? Well, according to the patent itself, the controller would use a pelter element to produce those temperature changes. The basic concept of such an element is that such as solid-state heat pumps that would transfer heat from one part of the element to another using electricity. So basically, it's just kind of using like an internal electrical flow to go through it. A pelter element can thus heat up or cool down at will. As you can imagine, this would greatly increase the level of immersion for any PlayStation controller using this technology. Sony still has to work out the kinks of this technology, but this could be on the basis of a new DualSense controller, either the PlayStation 5 or as well even for the future PlayStation 6. Now, once again, I kind of feel like for this one, it's probably not going to be in regards to this brand new current console generation. Number one, because patents are typically there for future-proofing technology and making things better. But at the same time, we also just had the DualSense Edge, like the Pro controller, just get released not too long ago, and I highly doubt they want to compete with their own proper competition, like with themselves, to make things even worse too on that. Yeah. It's very, very intriguing. I think I'm cool with this. So they also have some other intriguing tech too as well in regards to squishier controllers. Now, this is actually something I would maybe like, mainly because I don't mind the idea of like the analog sticks being kind of hard to push down, having a lot of good feedback, especially if you're trying to run or move around in your controller and all this type of stuff. I think this will be very, very nice. Very, very cool. But one of the ideas too as well is you guys can kind of see with these ulterior angles, it actually might make it so it's even squishier, even easier to go push down, even easier to go push around, and it can kind of go from there. Now, I think this is also nice too because we do need to have a little bit of a controller switch up. Now, I think I've kind of the mentality of don't fix things if they don't need to be fixed, but we do kind of always see the slight changes when it comes to PlayStation 5 controllers, PS4 controllers, and all that type of stuff too as well when it comes to this. And I do think having things like a literal temperature controlled controller, and also in combination of things with like adaptive feedback and also proper motors and everything else too time with the controllers, I think has a lot of good potential. So they go and say, of course, all the thermoelectric heating and cooling is dependent on the brand new elastic sensor Sony is developing. According to Xputer, this elastic sense will be various flexible materials such as a micromolecular gel material, examples of which are silicone-based macromolecular gel materials and urethane-based gel materials, and various electrometer materials as well. A bunch of random science words I don't understand. It might even use sci-fi levels of tech, such as artificial muscles or soft actuators, to ensure a smooth and organic experience during gameplay sessions. Sony even wants the controller to have built-in AI to even tell you how hard you're pressing down the elastic sensor and of why. And I think it's kind of cool too because we are seeing AI also being integrated into other various types of things, such as in these controllers, where it has a chance maybe to go and use the AI to go and fine-tune a proper, like maybe I don't know, maybe heat and all that type of stuff. I think it's very, very nice. And as well, same thing with other various aspects, we might as well use technology as time goes on, and we go from there. So, all this is just to have a better PlayStation controller, which I actually kind of agree in the first place. It's really quite amazing what length Sony is going to try to improve the gameplay experience, and I kind of agree on that one. Of course, with all this new tech, there's absolutely zero timeline for when we'll see this, because as you guys always want to give you as a heads up, patents are just up in the air too in general. And as well, whether in the future the PlayStation controller or some other console controllers, I think it's be kind of cool. I think they can work this on in, and especially if you guys look at some stuff like this, there is a few various different options where they could go put these heating sensors, or it might go and fit well. I probably would think it'd be maybe more on like a general handheld on this one, because I feel like if you just want a bit and piece of it on your actual controller itself, I think it's all around nice, good, and dandy. You'll still get the overall experience, or as well, it might even just be the entire handheld grip, but I don't really see too many people playing and holding their consoles like this over time. And like I said, we do see Sony over time keep on adding more and more and more. I'm very intrigued on how they want to integrate like a more, I guess, like squishy slash more adaptive slash movable, I don't know the best word for it, type controller handle, which I do think would be very nice to go and see in general. Now, as well, we also do see Xbox sometimes trying to work on their own different changes for all this stuff too, so let me know your thoughts and comments, because it does seem like a lot of folks are happy with this and would be okay with it, and as well, as long as there's not like any weird, like, I don't know, explosions or batteries being all over the place, yeah, it'd probably be really, really weird and probably usually, well, not good if that would go and happen. So hopefully no explosions in the future. We're gonna have to make sure Sony goes and tests that the best they possibly can. So that's all of it for me as of today. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We have the Target links down below. We have the Amazon links down below and everything else all down below too as well. And I appreciate you guys all so much here for watching in the first place.